Hey, this is Trader Travis, and I welcome you to another weekly recap. Now, on these recaps, myself as well as my Success Academy co-trainer Peter, we cover our trades. We sometimes place trades live, and we kind of talk about our opinion or perspective on the stock market. So if you watch these videos before, go ahead and fast forward to about a minute in to get to the good stuff. Now, if this is your first time watching, I'm going to start off with a short lesson as well as a disclaimer. Now, previously, I recorded a video showing where we made like $26,000 in a month. And I received some feedback on YouTube from an individual who said, but you need a large account size to cover those. You know, most people have a small account. And so I pointed out, well, no, that's a limiting belief. There are ways to do what we do on a smaller account, and that we all had small accounts at one time. And the way to a larger account is to save money, be prudent with what you have. And he came back with agreed, but you didn't say that. You didn't state exactly how much is needed to make how much. Otherwise, it's misleading to those who have very little. Now, that confused me a little bit. To me, it wasn't misleading, but I have to realize that, one, I have a different psychology than everyone else, and two, you know, when a person comments on something, they're what they call the internet police. Their job is to point out everything you're doing wrong. It's usually more about them than it is me. So I thought about it more, and I was like, you know what, maybe this person was misled in the past. Maybe this person thought, hey, they saw some video where a guy made like $26,000 like me, and they thought, hey, you can get rich overnight. You can make that on a $2,000 account. I literally get those emails. I have $5,000 and I want to make 15 grand a month. How can I do it? And I'm always like, what planet do you live on? Like, where in the world do you think that's possible? You know, when I'm being, blunt, I'm like, do you believe in Santa Claus, Jack and the Beanstalk, or unicorns, right? A rational-minded person, this goes to my psychology, we know that's not true. We know you can't get rich quick. We know that real wealth is built over time, not overnight. And real wealth is built $1 at a time. But if a person is misled and they actually believe that you can make $26,000 a month off of a really small account, people like that, they're the reason we have lawyers who want me to say things like this. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not implying or guaranteeing that you can make the money we are making. Before implementing anything you see in these videos, please seek qualified financial advice. Now, with that being said, let's get to the good stuff. All right, everyone, welcome back to another weekly recap. This is Trader Travis, and I have my Success Academy co-trainer, Peter. This is a special edition because we are losing money, and as a trainer, I am excited about that because it gives people a chance to see the reality. It's nice that people like, Travis made 26 grand last month. It doesn't always work out like that. Active investing is like working on commission. Some days you make money, some days you don't. You never can predict which day it will be. So I'm actually excited to show you that we're losing money right now and then show you what I do when I'm losing money. So with that being said, I'm going to actually show you my screen real quick, cover the general market, and then let Peter take over from there. All right, so we have the general stock market here. We have a 9-month chart. I'm looking at the S&P 500, and it's going down. We have a heavy day here. Actually, let me pull up SPY. That's the ETF of the S&P 500. And the reason I'm pulling this up is so you can see the volume down here. So we can see that it's falling down on a heavier volume. But I'm not really worried for several reasons. We, in the program, in the Success Academy, we cover like different things we look for to see if this is a market crash, things like this. To me, this is just normal movement. Some of the basic things you can do is draw kind of like what they call support and resistance. You kind of just draw a line across prices to kind of see, it's listening to the story the stock is telling you. Is this normal price movement for this particular stock? And so far, it looks like it is. And so there are two things that can happen. This is an imaginary line, right? It doesn't mean the stocks have to do this, but it's something we keep an eye on, right? So, you know, we keep an eye on it to see if it's going to bounce off of this little imaginary line right here and then go up in price, or if it's going to fall through this price area on heavier volume. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Right now, it just looks normal price movement. I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't care. Reasons don't matter. what matters is I listen to the story the stock is telling me, and I trade accordingly. And right now it's telling me, hey, we want to take a rest. We want to go down in price. But what you'll see in a moment is that does not affect this particular strategy I'm about to show you. But before I show you that, let me turn over the floor to Peter. And then what I'll do is come back and then place a couple of trades and explain my thought process to you.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Okay, so here's where I'm at. If you guys remember, let me pull up my spreadsheet real quick. Last week I was showing you guys, looking at this very first one here, I had to buy that vertical credit spread back from AT&T for a loss. So I bought it back at 12.30, so I lost about half, right? Because I sold that one and I generated 6.30 when I sold it. So lost money there. Sold some some cash secured puts on QQQ, which are now in the money, so I'm going to get assigned at 186, and that's about $6 above what QQQ is trading at. So that'll take a little hit, but I'll show you what I'm going to do to offset that. And then you remember I had that other vertical credit spread on AT&T up here, so I sold the 34.50, bought the 34 puts. I turned around on Monday and I sold my $34 puts, and the reason I did that was it helped me offset some of that loss I had on the first credit spread, but I also looked at it and said, okay, 34.50 is comfortable for me to buy AT&T at because of where it was trading at. I actually almost got away with it because it was almost out of the money leading into today, which would have meant it would have expired worthless and I wouldn't have been assigned. But I'm going to be assigned. AT&T, though, is trading close to $34 right now, so I'm not losing a ton of money, and I'll be able to sell some covered calls next week on that. Macy's has been dropping like a rock, and so I use that to my advantage. Most people panic when they see a stock that they own dropping. I'm not, because I'm making money as it drops as well by selling covered calls. Even though those covered calls I sell are below my cost basis, because I'm using my technical, my templates to gauge the stock, there's a good chance I'm not going to get assigned. But I manage those trades to make sure I don't get assigned because I don't want to sell at my cost basis. What I do is I keep track of all those as I make money. You can see here I've sold Macy's now. I've generated last week. It was right after we did our weekly recap, Travis. I placed these trades. So on my Macy's that I own, I generated $1,820 off of those shares that are dropping like a rock. But you can see, you can make money off of it. So I keep track of that, and then when I figure out my cost basis by all the revenue I'm generating from these covered calls, if I don't want to own Macy's anymore, I'll turn around and dump it. That's not going to be the case here. Macy's is a dividend stock as well. That's why I trade it. Same with AT&T. I don't generally dump them. I don't worry about it because they typically go through these things. This is what stocks do. Going over to Nvda, so I'll go back to my account here. So Nvda, I changed up my strategy. I was selling cash secured puts, but I didn't like the chart and what the chart was looking like, and we'll go over to it real quick. Nvda is very volatile. Overall, this stock has been going up. Travis and I were just talking about this. Let me go to a one-year chart. Overall, this stock has been going up. If you draw your trend line, you can see it's been going up. It's going through a pullback. It's kind of following what the market's doing right now. So I just, instead of selling my cash secured put, which would have been up here at the top, I didn't do that. Instead, I turned around and made this a Buffett strategy. So I won't trade this now long or short term. This will be a long-term trade. So you won't see me talk much about my NVDA trades because it's the Buffett strategy. It's a long-term strategy. It's one of those I don't really have to worry about it. Am I worried that NVDA is going to drop through the floor? I'm really not. It's what it does. It's a very volatile stock, and it'll most likely rebound in the next couple of weeks. And then my Buffett strategy, I will play into that. But at this point, yeah, it looks like I made money this week, but really in the grand scheme of things, next week could be a little bit dicey for us. So we'll see how that plays out. But let's go to my Mad Money account. same thing. I have Macy's. I was assigned at 39. Macy's is at 32, so it looks like I'm losing 700, but I'm not. I just keep selling covered calls on it, and one of them I just sold is at the 35.50 mark, so it's most likely going to expire worthless as well, and I'll just keep rinsing and repeating. As long as I keep seeing that stock going down, I'll keep selling covered calls. The minute I see it start to rebound, I'll stop selling covered calls and see what it does. And if it does start to rebound, I'll give it time to rebound towards my price point, and then I'll sell a covered call in the money and then rinse and repeat. And I didn't do my timer, Travis, so I have no idea how long I took.
And I have no idea either because I'm over here, once one of my cameras off, I'm over here stuffing my mouth over here, eating.
Sorry,
But,
I think I covered everything, though, I wanted to cover. I just think I did it in longer fashion. But something to point out to folks, don't panic. If you panic when you own a stock and it drops, then you really need to readjust your goals. And if you're doing cash secured puts on stocks you're not willing to own when they drop, then don't do cash secured puts on stocks. That's that simple. I know it sounds simple, but, and then the other thing is don't necessarily buck the trend. I'm not bucking the trend the way I'm doing my covered calls. I'm managing those. Most people would wait for the stock to regain and then sell covered calls. That actually benefits them. And I can do that too, but I'm just managing them. If the stock rebounds in the middle of my covered call, I buy it back, I take a loss, and then I just wait. I just plan out my strategy the next time. But I'm not panicking just because Macy's has dropped to $32 a share.
It's all part of the plan. Plan for the worst. See, that's the thing. Why would you panic? Plan for it. People are like, I still don't get that after all these years. Why are you panicking? Why did you not plan for it? Stocks just don't go up. So if they go down, what are you going to do? If you devise a plan beforehand, there's no reason to panic. Just execute the plan. But let me stop because I'm going to go into a rant. So are you done, buddy?
I am done. Sorry, I'll stop showing my screen.
All right. So let me look at my timer. I'm going to tell you right now I'm going to go over. I'm going to shoot for about 7 minutes here. So panic. Days like this where the market is down pretty heavy, use that. Don't look at that as a bad thing. What's going on? I don't want to share my screen.
Sorry. I changed presenter.
Yeah. No, that's fine. So use that to your advantage, right? So the way I think of it is don't fear, don't start freaking out. Use it as feedback. All right. So it's like, okay, if I'm freaking out, maybe I have too much of my money invested. Maybe I'm in the wrong strategy. Maybe this is not working for me. So you can kind of use it as feedback. If the down day like here, you log in and you're like, it's no big deal. Then you know you're in the right you're on the right strategy, right approach. Because investing should be as non-emotional as you can make it, and it should be boring. When you're there, very little emotions and boring, you're on the right track. So what I'm going to do is cover my trades, let you all know that, all right, retake. I just want to let you all know, I saw a comment on YouTube. Someone was like, he's talking a different language. I have a lot to learn. If everything Peter said doesn't make sense to you, don't stress out. It just means you need the education, and that's a good thing because you learn all of that in the Success Academy. So I want to let everybody know that public enrollment, it's closed right now, but public enrollment to the Success Academy will be open. I think it's Monday, October 15th, whatever day October 15th is, preferably is a Monday. If it's not, it's a Monday. All right, so we're going to open. If you want to learn all this stuff, you can learn inside the Success Academy. It is not cheap. We do not play in the cheap sandbox. We want high quality education. But the cost is irrelevant because what I'm about to show you here are the strategies you will learn, and you will see that once you implement that, recouping the investment, your tuition, will be one of the easiest things you can do. So with that being said, let me go ahead and show you my screen. So as I alluded to earlier, I said we were losing money. And so actually, let me just go through real quick just to show you. So we have Nvda is one of the positions I'm in. And it's not showing it here. Let's see if I can pull it. Different account. So let me pull up this different account here. So shows Nvda is down 1,400. That's towards the bottom right. Okay, I'm in a couple other ones. Target, I'm going to go through all of them, right? Full transparency, this is how we operate in the Success Academy. All right, 2,500 shows I'm down. That's a paper loss. It doesn't become real unless I freak out and close everything. Why would I freak out? I factored all this. I shouldn't freak out. I already factored in losses in my trade plan. So these losses are a very small percentage of the overall account. So there's no reason for me to freak out, because the way I operate is I plan for the worst and I hope for the best. So I already planned for every one of these trades not to make money. And if that happened, it still would not take me out financially. Knowing that gives you peace of mind that I cannot even articulate. So that's why I alluded to earlier about why would you freak out? Like if you plan for this, you know, then fine. So I plan for the worst case scenario. And the way I look at it is if I make money, it's a bonus. All right, so QQQ here, this is one of the ones I want to show you here, is down 5,600 overall. No big deal, because this is a stock I actually want to own. And what I'm looking at here is it says ITM, in the money, which means, hey, I'm about to buy some stock. Cool, no big deal. I wanted to buy it, and I'm going to rinse and repeat, right? I can afford these shares. If every one of these trades did not work out, I'd hit, you know, I'd keep the money I earned, which I'm about to show you, but I'd have to buy the stock. But that's fine. I wanted to buy the stock anyway. But what I'm going to do is give myself a buffer, right? I don't know how long this stock, QQQ, has had a really nice, strong downward pullback right here in price. The volume is picking up. Let's draw a little trend line here. You know, it's almost not, yeah, it's trending a little bit lower than its average here. So it's going to continue. I don't know, so I'm going to give myself time for the stock to kind of sort it out. I'm not saying I'll do this every week, but right now there's no reason for me to fear this is a stock I want to own. So every week when you watch me place these trades, you see me do weeklies. Every week I'm collecting a payday. Well, now because the stock's falling in price, I want to give it time to kind of sort itself out, maybe even potentially go up in price. So I'm going to go out a little further here, all right? So I'm going to go out maybe 77 days, right? And I'm going to place the same 5 contracts you saw me place with all the other positions. And I'm going to I'll do this one right here. All right, let's sell 5 contracts. And I'm going to hit confirm and send here. All right, that got filled. And so what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. Matter of fact, let me just do it now. Nvda, did I show you Nvda? If I did not, let me look at the timer here. Nvda is going down. This is its kind of support, just an imaginary line you draw to see where prices have had trouble. Nvda has been going up, but it's very volatile, but it's been kept the same pattern. It goes up, goes down, goes up, go down. It's making higher highs and higher lows. So Nvda is another one I already showed you. I'm losing money on it. So these positions I have open may potentially take a loss. No big deal. I factored it in. So what I'm about to do now is almost like buy and hold. Right, I'm always keeping pace with the stock. Buy and hold, they do something called dollar cost average. You invest the same dollar amount every month. When the stock's going down like this, you buy shares cheaper. When it's going up, you buy shares more expensive, but over time, you average it out. So I'm taking kind of a buy and hold approach. I'm always staying with the stock no matter where it's at. Same approach I take with QQQ. I'm going to go a little further out here, 100 and something days, just to give this stock plenty of time to make up its mind, right? Give it time to sort itself out. And I've been trading 10 contracts on Nvda, and I'm going to take the same approach with my other 2 trades, but for time's sake, you won't see me place those live. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit confirm and send and see if that trade gets filled. If not, I'm going to come in here and make sure it gets filled right away, just so I won't go over my time there. So I don't want to do a market order, so let's do 245 here. Hit confirm and send, and this should get filled here. All right, so now what I'm going to do, you just watched me click buttons, and you heard some little dings there. What happened was those dings mean cash showed up in my account. So earlier I said the Success Academy is not cheap. Well, relative. Some people say it's too cheap. I need to raise the price because of how much they're earning. Other people who are not at the program, it's always people who aren't a part of the program was like, that's too expensive. So what I wanted to show you is this is why Success Academy members think it's cheap, and they always encourage me, you need to raise the price. Here's why. You just watch me click buttons. $6,000 showed up in my account. That is way more. That will more than cover the tuition of the Success Academy. So again, recouping your tuition in Success Academy, one of the easiest things you'll do. So I click buttons, cash showed up. This is not, oh, I guaranteed 6,000. I may lose on these trades, but even if I do, I'm okay. I will recover. But what I want to show you is best case scenario. I will earn $6,000 just on these 2 trades, and I have a couple of more to place.
Bottom line is that, you know, we developed these, we started doing these weekly recaps so people, not for a negative aspect, but for a positive, to show you guys that if you stay engaged and you learn something and you increase your financial education, this is what you can do. I didn't start doing this last week or last month. I've been a part of Travis's Success Academy for many, many years now. And what drove me to its Success Academy was a market crash of 2007 and 2008, where I had professional money managers who were supposed to make my life a little easier. And it didn't. I watched my account drop by 46% in a year and a half. So I lost your video cam.
Yeah, I'm still here. I turned it off because you had the floor. I was like, oh, he's talking good stuff. Let me get rid of my own face here.
No, and so the bottom line is that's why we designed these weekly videos, to give people a positive path that this can happen. But if you think you're going to do this in a week, a month, a year, most people don't do it in a year. I don't know what the stats are for the Success Academy, but the average person takes a much longer than a year to really have this down pat where they're able to confidently trade. And, you know, we brought up a good point. Travis brought it up in a video I was watching last night on the Success Academy, and it's a great point. It's not how much money you make in the market. It's how little money you lose in the market. Because the reality is, if you educate yourself properly, you can make money. But if you're greedy, you'll lose more than you make. And that's what these videos were designed for. So I would just say to the person, if you're having a lot of limited beliefs, then you need to start incorporating more positive role models in your life, because that's what's driving your negativeness. And that's what I did. Travis is one of the most positive role models in my life, and I was one of the most negative. And I'm still negative in areas, but Travis helps me work through that because he doesn't allow negativity in our conversations. We're positive. That's it, Travis. Sorry.
No, that is a great point. And I was just pulling up, I'll just show you my webcam again. Don't pay attention to my opinion because I'm incredibly biased.
All right, so we are ready. Peter's giving me a hard time.
I was like, what is that?
Autoplay. Sorry.
So Peter's already shared his opinion. Pay attention to what Peter says because, again, I created the program. I'm incredibly biased. So with that being said, I have gone way over my time limit. So you all take care. Thanks for the feedback. Hey, we'll take any kind of negative feedback. However, do not think I'm just going to sit over and roll over and think you're going to vomit your negativity and your limiting beliefs on my channel. It's not going to happen. I'm always going to challenge that. Heck, I challenged myself. I publicly declared last recap how I myself had a limiting belief. And I hired a mentor that kind of pushed me through that. So I don't even accept that in my own personal life. So you can reasonably expect I'm not going to accept it in yours. No. Do not come to me with limiting beliefs because I'm going to push you to greatness. So with that being said, you all take care. Have a great week, and I hope you enjoyed this recap.